Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ControlUp Community Radio. I don't do a ton of these podcasts. In today's world, attention spans are not what they used to be, and we tend to get our data and our information in smaller nuggets. And my podcasts have always been a little bit longer because we just want to have a conversation and share something of quality. So, I might not have as many, but I hope that what you find is that the ones we do are really great. And these are things I pick myself. These are people I want to have on, technologies I love, things I want to share. So I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you'll listen to these. I hope you'll tell a friend. And today we have a great episode. Today we have Ryan Mangan with us. And Ryan is just an absolutely great guy, a community guy, an engineer, a techie, a entrepreneur. I mean, this guy is cool, and I'm a big fan. So I saw him at E2E and I said, we got to do a podcast. We got to share what you guys are doing. And he recently, and the reason is because he's not working for, a Citrix, a Microsoft, even ControlUp, as cool as we are. He's out doing his own thing, and he started up a company called, if I can spit this out, EfficientEther. And it's so cool. It's basically AI helping you with your Azure costs and your AVD and Cloud PC and your Microsoft 365. It's the 365 for AI for 365, something like that. Well, I don't have to explain it to you. That's why I wanted to bring Ryan on. So he also has a buddy of mine over there working for him, over there working with him, good old Robin Brindle, and yeah. So I hear about it, but I wanted to learn about it. So I thought I would have a little interview with him and share all that with you guys. So yeah, with no further ado, here's our latest episode of the ControlUp Community Radio, my personal podcast show, what I like to share, the things I find super awesome. And today we have the most awesome Ryan Mangan. So from EfficientEther, I can spit that out the second time. Okay, here we go. Okay, Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time to do this. I'm looking forward to hearing, to learning more about what you're doing. I know a little bit about it, and it's pretty cool. And everyone I talk to says it's even cooler. So thanks so much for taking the time to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. It's been a while since we last had a chat anyway, so it'd be great to kind of chew the fat, as it were.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know you yet, who is Ryan Mangan? How did you end up in this EUC world, and then, of course, doing what you're doing now?
Well, the running joke, Doug, is I'm not Tim Mangan, I'm Ryan Mangan. We're not distantly related either, just to kind of clarify, but Tim's a great guy. So my name is Ryan Mangan. I've been in the EUC now 2 decades, I'd say. Worked heavily in the RDS space for a long time, in the VMware space, and then moved on to all these exciting things like Azure Virtual Desktop and Cloud and Azure and all that bumbo jumbo. Probably known best for my contributions to, the community in user computing for like Azure Virtual Desktop, books, articles, and all that kind of good stuff. Really? Yeah. That kind of summarizes it.
Excellent. I definitely want to bring up the book subject because you have a recent one, but I'll ask that later. Let's save that one let's save the goodness. We're going to save the goodness. So you've been a consultant, an author, a speaker, a CTO, and now a founder. How do you describe what you do today? We haven't even talked about what you do today yet. We're saving that too, but how do you describe what you do today? What's like a typical day for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question because it depends on the size of the business and obviously what the business is. So on my side, we founded a company called EfficientEther, which is a kind of cloud cost optimization, and there's an AI flair, which we'll go into a little bit later on. But in a large organization, I'd be, doing one-to-ones with executives and things like that. But as a startup, sleeves are firmly rolled up. So the day comprises of, legal, development, meetings, customer engagement, product feature, product management, all sorts of various different things. So I'll be honest with you, Doug, it's never a dull day. Every day is an exciting day. The only downside with it, which I don't mind too much, is the work sometimes follows you, even if you take a few days off. So it's very much get and go, but I don't lose sleep, if that makes sense.
So EfficientEther, maybe you can tell us a little bit about this. What made you go down this path? You have what, Efficient Ether, and that includes EtherAssist AI, EtherInsights. What is all this stuff? What problems are you solving?
Yeah, so you know what's happened over the last 10 years. We've seen things transition from perpetual licensing over to subscription and consumption. And, the Microsoft Azure and that big kind of push. And a lot of organizations now, I know people are repatriating, but there's a considerable number of organizations in the world who are moving towards this subscription-based model. So I wouldn't say it being forced, but, the trajectory of, industry and compliance and the technicalities of running things on premises makes it somewhat difficult to kind of continue. Anyway, so we founded Efficient Ether to kind of build a cost management and insight platform. What's really scary is in industry today, they say it's around about 20 to 30% of businesses running cloud platforms have a waste, 20 waste. Every business has predominantly a predictable waste of around about 20 to 30%. So if you're running cloud services today, there's always room for improvement is the kind of catch. So we built this platform which connects in and looks at everything and then gives you some recommendations and also some self-healing and remediation as well. And some of the results we found with customers today have been quite surprising, where things have not been removed, like, on an on-premises VMware environment, people would leave things and turn them off. But you can't just do that in the cloud because you're still paying the bill for certain things, or if it's not being stocked properly, or there's some really large data in there, it all comes at a cost. But the AI side of it was not meant to be. It was an accident, evolution, and creation. So I don't know if I've told you the brief story before, but effectively we were building this assistant, a chatbot, to assist with these cost optimization improvements. And as we went down that rabbit hole, starting building out the technology of AI, everything, by the way, is AI built from ground up. So everything uses AI as kind of built in the main system. It's not added on. It's AI driven. And anyway, this chatbot got 2 Cloudfruits on boots, and it was even impressing me and answering, Azure Virtual Desktop questions, Cloud PC, drawing diagrams, all sorts of things which were really useful to me, but which could be also used to consultants and IT departments. So it was agreed that we would form a second product called EtherAssist. So while we were building the flagship product Insights, we launched EtherAssist, and I'm pleased to say the adoption's been incredible. So early days, but it seems to have a lot of value on the market today.
Let's take them one at a time, right? So can you walk us through EtherAssist, how that works, who it's built for, and how does it help them? What is that value?
Yeah, so that's a good question again. So in terms of the value, so it's built for IT people. So you go and take like a ChatGPT product, it's just got knowledge on all sorts of things. It's reliant on this large data set from the LLM in ChatGPT, and it answers questions. What we did is we kind of honed in technical topics related to IT, for compliance, to IT, to business strategy and IT, all the areas you can think of within an IT department that you may need or require. So the kind of, if you take an average IT person's day or a support engineer's day, and he gets all these errors and these tickets in a ticketing system, imagine if you could take them error codes and paste them into a chat and get a response with the outcome, the issue, within 3 or 4 seconds. If you were doing that today and you could find out the answer in 4 seconds, what would that mean to you? I mean, it's a question back to you quickly, Doug. What value would that provide to you?
Yeah, it's huge. Huge. Time is money. Come on.
Yeah. So initially the early value was that it was an operational ROI. And then what we did is we started building out more kind of benefits. And we partnered with a company called NDC in the UK. It's a compliance auditing company who helped us build out our ISO compliance and security capabilities in the product, which allows you to, draft paperwork for ISO 27001, risk registers, policies. On all these drafts, obviously you can download them into a Word and then improve them and add to them. But what would take you hours, or you'd have to go and buy packs of templates and modify them, you can draft outputs in, like I said, 4 seconds. So the value cuts not just across, a technical domain, but also into, business and security and compliance. So it's not just for the IT support desk. It adds value to all sorts of different people within the IT department or in a managed services provider ecosystem.
So let's dive into EtherInsights.
Sure. So what we did is we took the assistant, we built which is now its separate product, and built that into the flagship product. So we've got an AI assistant on the right hand side of the product, providing you advice and guidance. And then we've got a platform which looks into 365 and Azure. A lot of products today, I don't know if you've seen FinOps products, it's not really most people's interest because it's just bars and data sheets and quite heavy on data. A lot of them are quite complicated to use and costly. What we want to do was kind of provide a insights type of FinOps, which gives you all the necessary information, but without all of the noise, if that makes any sense. So what it does is it connects into 365 and looks at all the licenses, looks for things like shelfware, overlapping, all sorts of interesting challenges you may have in your estate to kind of help you save money. We also are able to calculate carbon emissions on 365, and we're able to give you an idea of what your carbon footprint is on using 365, which is cool. I'll come to Cloud PC in a minute. And then on the Azure, we look at how to save money on things which are not being used or not configured, right sizing. So we look at CPUs, burstable, and kind of pull all that information down in a very simple, easy view. And then we also are able to analyze costs and change over the last 3 months. So it looks at the Azure cost and the 365 costs and calculates all the changes over them 3 months so that you get some nice intelligent information from the AI of what's changed, what's increased, what's decreased, what's new, what's old, anything which can help you make, an assessment. And what's really cool about the product is that we're seeing that most organizations, I'd say all today, but, can't guarantee anything, but everybody's making a saving on the first use and the ROI. And, when they continue to use it as well, people make changes, things change, licenses expire or renew. It kind of tells them what to do. So we're seeing real value. So the first month, it pays for itself. But then after that, people continue to kind of keep on top of it or improve it further. So yeah, it has a lot of kind of day one kind of value, if that makes sense onwards. The cloud PC piece was a new one as well. Because that's a subscription base and not consumption, it's almost like a Microsoft 365 license, so it should be treated that way. So we've brought that into the solution. And what we've done as well, which is public knowledge now anyway, is we've been able to calculate the emissions of a user using Cloud PC as well. So we can now see what the kind of an insight carbon footprint per user on 365 and Cloud PC. All the exciting things like resizing Cloud PC or Frontline, and handles all that kind of good stuff in the product as well. So for all of the cloud first tech companies in the world, it's a great kind of tool to help them keep on top. And then for all those who are transitioning, migrating, or moving into these technologies, it adds a lot of value to that as well. But what's really cool about all of it is it's the AI is integrated in. So you could have no idea about some of these areas, but you simply click a button or ask some questions, and you start getting trained by the AI on what to do and how to do it.
But let's talk about the tech stack. So what's your approach there?
Yeah, so microservices as the main one, but we built everything in Azure. We're a Microsoft startup, and we work quite closely with Microsoft on various different levels. And yeah, so we built everything in Azure and span it across Europe, UK, and US. So we've got all data sovereignties in that sense. We built the AI, everything's proprietary. We're not using, off-the-shelf technology, so it's all built from the ground up. Both products are. And we're using kind of complex kind of vectors and various other different methods and technologies, AI training, and all this other kind of good stuff. We are looking at potentially longer term as well, offering private so that you can deploy us on premises for those who want a complete off-net version. But yeah, it cuts across all three regions. I didn't mention this actually. One of the things we did first when we set the business up is we actually went out and got ISO certified in 9001 and 27001, and then also got compliant with Cyber Essentials. So a lot of businesses, as you know, Doug, don't get that even though they're $1 billion. We did it day one, so we're already ticking all the compliance boxes from an early age.
And you have a heavy security background. So when you build all this stuff, I imagine that when that background, that way of thinking went into, ground up building, right?
Yeah, and obviously Microsoft have also supported us. But what we are doing now is because we've got so many development sprint releases, we're doing pen tests every quarter. It's that busy. We've got, so many different, we work off an agile basis, but we've got so many different kind of product features already there being aggression tested and pushed into the products on a daily, weekly basis. We're having to kind of increase the number of automated testing and then external pen testing to kind of make sure we keep on track of it, which everybody loves, because if you turn around and said that I do a pen test every quarter, no one's going to be annoyed with me for that, are they?
No, no, not at all. That's great. That's absolutely great. Well, what are your customers saying? Maybe you can give us a success story.
So there's one customer based in down south in the UK, Integrity Print. It's completely a bit of a left field to the usual technical, and I like this one because the compliance officer is in, near retirement, I should say, and they found that using the AI was incredibly simple, easy to use, and made their life really, really simple. It was a great kind of testimonial from them, saying that it really kind of helped speed things up and help them kind of get across these areas which they were struggling with, and how that someone who is not, straight out of school can pick up a new modern technology and run with it and deliver amazing, outstanding results. So that was quite a real good smoke test, really, of the product, because if people are not technically using it, what does that tell you?
Oh, it tells you a lot. It tells you need to be able to, work with these people. They need to be able to understand the data and the insights you're giving them, right?
Yeah, so it's all very positive, and working with various different people in so many different industries as well. Manufacturing, finance. Yeah, it's all going very well. It was our second anniversary this week as well, so we're celebrating that as an organization too. So 2 years in, all products are now shipped, and we're on with helping customers.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And if somebody, I have a bunch more questions, but while we're talking about, if somebody wants to get their hands on it, how do they do this?
Yes, we've done this as well. This is nice and simple. So both products are free trial, and it's quite simple in the sense of you go to efficientether.co.uk and follow the links, or you can go to the individual products sites as EtherAssist.ai or EtherInsights.ai, and you just sign up for a free trial. It uses your Microsoft authentication. You have to put your credit card in, but you can cancel before the trial expiry, and you can go nuts. Simple as that, really. It's all self-onboarding. You can be set up on the platform in a couple of minutes on both of them.
Super cool. Super cool. We'll address this at the very end, get a link or something, more info on how. But in the meantime, I have a few more questions for you. So AI is huge, right? And you're playing with it heavily, diving into this really, leverage all that jazz and more. How do you see AI shaping EUC, in our sort of neck of the woods over the next few years? So wide open question for you.
It's already started. That's a given. If you speak to product management in various, probably even in ControlUp, they're using it to do research, to go and find things on the internet or read documents and provide outcomes, various different things. So what would take you months to do something you can do much quicker, or analyze data much quicker. So if you are from a vendor who's developing software for the UC, there's massive value there. If someone needs to produce documentation, change requests as they're using EtherAssist or other, that effectively speeds up the process. So what will take you an hour can take you 5-10 minutes. So that early on, there's this augmentation, kind of improvement in the ability to do more with less. We're in this world now where we're seeing people need to do more with less because of, cuts, government changes, wars, all sorts of interesting things, which are not always interesting, disappointing things in the world, which have an impact. So, AI has a lot of value there. The only concern I have with AI, which we can talk about a bit later, is that, we saw the Industrial Revolution and we saw that it was positive, but there's also some great negativity on it as well, where people were put into poverty. So I'm hopeful that things will be done in a different way to prevent that sort of challenge if we were to move to another revolution, as it were.
I think that's that's a whole can of worms, Ryan. Ryan.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's a.
I mean, the good news about AI is there's always needs to be someone, human in the loop. Even with our before we release new technology or features, we have a human still go through, regardless of what automated tests we have or AI tests we have. Someone still has to test it, because you can't trust technology on its own. We never have been able to. Would you allow water sources to kind of auto filter, or would you, if someone gets ill, someone has to be there to test it at the end of the day, and that's what we do. But where we're going next with AI, which we're starting to see, and something we're working on internally, is the ability to kind of automate actions in EUC. So let's pick on ControlUp, the ability to kind of pull data from ControlUp analyze that data, and then provide fixes, and then maybe carry out the fix as well. That's pretty much what I think is coming fairly soon as well. We've seen, have you heard of the Model Context Protocol, MCP? That's already there. Incredibly dangerous if you played with it. You can basically rewrite all your conditional access policies in a minute. Whether they're correct or not is another story. But we're already at that point now where we can use AI to automate and carry out autonomous activity if we wanted to. But, I love the phrase guardrails. There needs to be guardrails on these things, or has to be mandatory. Yeah. There's one final use case, because we don't want to stay too long. So completely outside of IT. So my daughter did a dance exam at the weekend, and the examiner wrote a handwritten note explaining how well she did. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was illegible. I couldn't read it. So I put it through ChatGPT with the camera on the phone, and it literally rewrote what she said. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So,
really?
Yeah, honestly, people use it for directions now. And there's so many use cases. I've got a really cool video, not for today, and I'm going to send you it. But I've got a laptop with voice AI, and then I've got a phone with voice AI both on, and I got them to argue who out of Windows and 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop has a better platform. And they start arguing, but by the end of it, every time they agree. It's quite frustrating, really, because I want them to fight, but they will not do it. It's good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So you have a new book, or it's an old book. Well, I wouldn't say an old book, but you have a second edition of a book. So you have you have written what? Mastering Azure Virtual Desktop. Am I saying that correctly? And now you have you have the second edition. Yeah, share that with us.
Yeah, so I wrote the original one a few years back, and it was quite a beefy book, really. It was over 760 pages, I'm sure of it. Talks about ControlUp in the back of it as well, I think. And then I was asked to write a second. And the thing is, writing 760 pages while doing a day job is pretty intense, right? So I called out to two community peers who you know as well, both Marcel and Neil McLaughlin, and then they agreed to help me kind of produce the second edition. The first edition did incredibly well. We sold 63,000 copies, and to an unnamed source as well, they also bought digital rights to it too. So yeah, it was a real successful book, and I appreciate everybody in the community and all those out there who are trying to build AVD who kind of participated in obviously supporting us. And then the second edition we brought out not too long ago, I think at the beginning of this year or end of last year, I can't remember. But it's been not as good because people probably already got the first and they're already there. But it's had some good success, and I still get comments. People messaging saying, "Oh, this is a great aid." And it wasn't about the book; it was about the field experience, if that makes sense. So when you've got people writing books, they're about as useful as a paperweight if there's no actual personal flair to them. So if you put things which you found difficult, or how like what's the best optimization tool for an image? I always found the VMware optimization tool the best. But if you don't add that value into them books and give your personal perspective, there's no real value in buying it. It's just you could get that from MicrosoftLearn.com. So it's quite powerful when you're buying books these days. And this is what some people don't realize is you're not buying a book. You're buying the thoughts of three people who have been doing this for so long.
I agree. The world's changed a lot since I started playing with Citrix and EUC back in the the late 90s, and now it's 2025, and 25, 26, 27 years later, you've written a lot about it. What are the pain points? Are there, that's left? Are there still issues? Is it pretty much, all resolved? I mean, where do you think we are?
Well, the biggest problem we have is advancement of technology. So every time there's a big advancement or a big change, it creates more work moving forward. What I mean by that, I can give you some examples, is, remember the Millennium Bug? That was a thing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And then, moving from XP to Vista, they changed the way user data and program files were saved. So that was quite a bit of a problem. Not too bad, but still one to kind of be aware of. And then they said there wouldn't be a Windows 11. And there's a Windows 11. But the big one I foresee now is this. So Windows 11 with the TPM chips and moving to Windows 11, that is the current issue. But also Microsoft, and to be fair, it's incredibly, I've done a lot of playing around with it is the Copilot Plus PCs with the Pluton chips and the built-in MPUs on the devices. They're ARM devices, unfortunately, or most of them will be ARM. So we're now having to move to Windows 11, but then we have to transfer from a 64-bit to ARM potentially. Okay, ARM has emulation in it to emulate, but some maps might not work with the emulation. So what I'm saying is, it's this. You've been doing this longer than me. It's a revolving door, isn't it? Whatever way we step, we get over one problem, there's another. I don't mind it because I'm a fixer and builder. I build things, I fix things. And that's what keeps me happy. So you keep throwing issues at me, and I'll keep fixing them.
So looking ahead as a longtime community voice, what's next for you? What's next in general, for the industry? You're going to write more books. Of course, your products are definitely continuing. What's next?
Yeah, I mean, I've kicked the can quite a bit down the road. I've done publications and books and all that kind of good stuff. But so today I'm focusing on obviously working on building, as we say, I like using the building out the technology in the company. And then there's likely probably going to be a couple more books, I think, to kind of finish that off. Yeah, and then maybe some more community projects. I'm thinking I do have something in mind for the community, but I don't think I'm ready to fully share it yet. But yeah, there's definitely something I want to do more in the community to kind of bring people together.
I look forward to hearing about that. That's super cool. Okay, Ryan. So for the listeners out there that want to learn more about EtherAssist and what you're doing, how do they how do they find that out? Where do they go? How do they follow you online? LinkedIn, blogs, YouTube, all that stuff.
Yeah. So just if you want to kind of follow me on LinkedIn or link in with me, just send me an invite and I'll click accept. I accept most people these days. Well, everybody really. I like to network and talk to people about their challenges as well. That's me. In terms of find out more about the products, you can go to www.efficientether.co.uk, or you can go to the product sites, which is EtherAssist.ai or EtherInsights.ai. All roads lead back to the same. And if you want to give it a test, no kind of obligation, 14 days for the AI and 5 days for the insights. Do you like that, Doug? The insights is 5 days because it's that good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me, and I look forward to following along, and I love what you're doing. You have Robin over there, where that's someone we didn't bring up. You hired Robin Brendel. Maybe you can talk a bit about Robin's doing. Everyone loves Robin. I love him. He's one of my favorites.
So Robin is Robin's does many things. Robin's also super technical. So he gets involved in some of the dev, well, quite heavily now in the dev, and using and testing the products and finding things and features, as well as helps us kind of talking with customers. But yeah, he's not just alliances. This man is a walking technical toolbox. I don't care what anybody says. And we're very, very blessed and fortunate to have someone with such incredible skills to come along and support us. And also a great friend now as well. We've got a great relationship and we're doing some really powerful, great stuff. So I won't take credit for anything what we're building. It's very much a team effort across, all of us, including Amy, Andrew, Colin, and of course, Robin Brendel.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so very much for taking the time to do this. Like I said, I look forward to following along and yeah, thanks, man.
No, thank you, Doug. Pleasure as always.
Okay, so that concludes another successful episode of ControlUp Community Radio. I love saying that. I've been saying it forever. I've done like 300 and some episodes of podcasts, probably closer to 400 between DABCC Radio and ControlUp Community Radio. It's always the same. Thank you for, welcome to another. It's my radio voice. Come on, what do you say? So, but I love doing these things because I love learning myself and I love sharing them with you. And, like I said, I don't do a lot of these anymore. We do a lot of 5-minute width videos, and we're starting to do more and more with just smaller little chunks of key movers and shakers within ControlUp and outside our customers or partners, things like that. Definitely check that out. We post them in the ControlUp community, but also we post them on my LinkedIn, and ControlUp folks post them. So you should see them all over the place on LinkedIn. And of course, join the community. It's the best place to get all this information and more. But what I love about this is I get to do these episodes with people that I look up to, people that are creating technologies that are, groundbreaking and new and cutting edge and solving big problems and things of that nature. And I've always been so fortunate that I get to talk to these folks and know these people. So I want to share it with you. And I've known Ryan for a long time, and He's one of my favorite people. If I'm in a room and I see him, I stop what I'm doing. I go over and talk with Ryan. It's just a super smart guy, great wit, it's just fun to be around, but great technologist. And yeah, so I wanted to bring him on. I hope you guys like this episode. I hope you like what he's doing. Definitely check it out to learn more. Hit Ryan up on LinkedIn, Twitter. I imagine he's on X or whatever they call that thing, or, message me. I'll get you in touch. So, what do I say? Efficient Ether, one of the coolest technologies out there. Ryan, thanks so much. Thank you all for listening. I'm rambling at this point, but I can do that. It's my podcast. So, if you like it, tell a friend. Have a great day, all. See you soon.